Farmers and dairymen in the Central Valley of California are currently fighting to keep their heads above water, quite literally, due to a combination of excess rain and snow to historic levels in California, as well as a lack of infrastructure to store and contain all this water, and the breakage of several natural infrastructures such as the Tule River. We're seeing a massive amount of water flooding the Central Valley and taking out crop fields, dairies, and causing families and farmers to relocate themselves, their equipment, and their animals. It is a massive mess in the Central Valley at the moment, especially in southern Tulare County. And today with me, I had Tyler Ribeiro, a dairyman from the Central Valley, and also somebody who's been on the podcast before, but it has been a little while. Come on and talk about what's been going on from his perspective. Him and his family have been helping out their neighbors with dealing with some of these issues, and so he's been able to give quite a bit of the ground level experience as to what this whole situation has been looking like. So let's get straight into it. Hello, welcome to Talk Ag to Me, the podcast dedicated to improving ag literacy around the globe. I'm your host, Brandon Black, and I'm joined by a former guest of ours that has not been on in quite a while, but he has some interesting news to share with us, Tyler Ribeiro.
Thanks for having me back on again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Before we jump into the news, could you give a little bit of a description about yourself and kind of what your role is in the agriculture industry?
Absolutely. Over the last few years, I've taken on a few more roles, put a few more irons in the fire. But at the very base, I'm a dairy farmer. I'm the fourth generation, and it's definitely been a passion of my family's for over 100 years now. On top of that, building on that, I always like to stay involved. So I ended up on the California Cattle Council, Dairy Council of California. I do work with CMAB, and I'm on the Western United Board as well as the Tulare Joint Union High School District Board. So I said yes a lot.
It sounds like it. Which you are quite a people pleaser. So.
Well, maybe to a point. Well, when I see work that needs to be done, I tend not to shy away from it. You know, my grandfather, he had a funny saying when he saw somebody watching somebody work and go, "Hey, work isn't a spectator sport. Get in there."
I like that. Yeah. Which I can definitely relate to. I have a problem saying no to. So
when there's work to be done, it's
yeah. If nobody else is going to do it, you got to do it. You know exactly. But
I'm not there to please anybody. I'm there to get it done.
That's right. And I know that you recently got a little bit more active back on social media. You want to plug your channel or what?
I took some time off. Had to get my poop in a group, and then I started back again on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. My handle is CA Dairy Dad, so California Dairy Dad. But I think you just search Dairy Dad, it comes up.
I believe so. You've kind of conquered that that sphere of dairy dads. So
I tried.
I'm not sure how big that sphere was, but you are definitely.
No, I was the only one. Thanks for pointing that out.
Hey, it's still an accomplishment nonetheless. I would say you're one of the more popular of the agricultural influencer groups. So, but yeah, so if anyone's interested in checking out any updates on the dairy industry from the Central California area, then you can check out Tyler on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and all those great things, and I'll link all that down in the description. But without further ado, we have a very particular dairy industry issue right now. I'm not sure it's so much an industry issue as it is a community issue. And so for anyone who doesn't know, because I have listeners all over the country and in other parts of the world, California is currently experiencing historic records of water and flood and just mess.
Just mess, yes.
I've been hearing bits and pieces of it from my corner because I live in town, so I obviously haven't seen as much of it. I mean, I've driven around and seen the damage, but I haven't been directly affected. But friends, neighbors, family, friends have been kind of talking, around what's been going on here. So since you have been directly affected by it, would you mind kind of giving us the synopsis of what's been going on?
Yeah, no, I can't. I want to back up because you said something that was very interesting.
Okay.
And it's something that all of us out here in the neighborhood has kind of noticed is we're fighting a battle out here, but as soon as you go into town, nobody has any idea what's going on out here. and well, right, and nothing, they're not being affected by it, and I understand, but it's really eerie to see life is normal just 10 minutes up the road and then come back to an absolute crap storm.
No, that's absolutely true. My dad and I were driving around in Tipton and Pixley yesterday, and we were just seeing all of the all the closed roads and the sandbags and all the different stuff going on. And I, like I said, I've seen parts of it because I'm currently working at Palo Verde Elementary, and so we had our school shut down last week because of it, and we've had kids not able to go to school. So I've been hearing about it, but besides the videos and pictures, I haven't really seen a whole lot of what's been going on. So
yeah, it's definitely an experience that I'll never forget.
I can imagine.
And let's start off with this. Our facility, we've been very blessed, right? We did not get the flood waters, which gave us the opportunity to go help those that have. But I woke up, I was getting my kids ready for school, going to start the day just like any other day, and I had this pounding, on my door. I'm going, who in the world is banging on my door right now? And it was inside my garage. I was going out the door. Nobody should be in there. So I open the door, and it's my cousins going, hey, the river broke. That was a soundbite that kind of gives me chills now. It's something that the old timers always talked about. Said, back in 59, and then there was 69, but you never imagined you'd hear those words. The river broke. So it was a race to get the kids to school and go, okay, I know they're safe. Now it's time for work. And that was probably one of the longest weeks. I know, at least in my experience. I don't know. I don't remember what day it broke. I don't remember a lot of the time frames, but I remember when it broke, it came around and went into one dairy, and we thought it was going to just skip right past it. The way it came through, it missed everything that was really important, and we were able to kind of control it and divert it, into a safe path. So we thought, well, what I didn't expect at the time was those banks to continue to fail. As that water kept coming and the water levels got higher, the pressure was more intense. The flow became incredibly fast, and it just ate those banks. What we thought we could control, we realized that we couldn't. We thought we could divert and move. We realized pretty quickly that wasn't going to be a thing. Mother Nature goes where she wants to go. You can do your best and protect what you can. But the water level rose so fast. I went back and checked on that dairy around 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And I drove through the road, what was left of the road, in a razor. And the water was underneath the razor. I turned around and realized it's getting deep. And I started coming back through the same path. And it was within maybe a minute. And the water was already over the floorboards of the razor.
Oh, wow.
So we raised probably a foot in a matter of a minute. And I went, we've got a problem. And the poor guy's houses were underwater already. The cows were, I say underwater, let's be specific here. There was water everywhere, and they couldn't lay down. So we had to get them out. So we got some trucks together, and we moved animals till about 5 o'clock in the morning. It was crazy.
Wow.
But it was a skeleton crew that night. Because who's awake at midnight to move animals? It was cold water. I'll tell you that, it was cold water.
Oh man!
But so as soon as we realized we got animals to a safe place, then it was a matter of getting people ready to go to in a few hours when the sun comes up to move again, and then it was tracking it as it came down and protecting houses and another farm down there. Before it hit them. We were actually successful protecting one of the nearby farms. One of the other neighbors, he had people put together. He was able to protect his farm. The other neighbors were okay. That poor guy just got the absolute brunt of it. There was points where that water was up, almost waist level, if not higher.
Wow.
It was insane. But he had more dairies offer help, more trailers offer help, more people. It wasn't just our square mile of neighbors. It was the entire dairy community that could get there showed up.
Wow.
And I noticed that sticker that's on your laptop, and I freaking love it because that's exactly it. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. And that's exactly what we had to do this past week. Is we were all tired. We were all living off of coffee and tobacco and piss and vinegar. That's all we had. But we got it done. I think that's the real story there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's when we talk about agriculture, I think oftentimes we like to kind of talk about what those hardships look like because, like you mentioned, we have our parents, grandparents, great grandparents who talk about how hard things were growing up, but we deal with market issues and we deal with regulations and this, that, and the other thing, but it's when you have a natural disaster like this and when you have such a out of left field, attack by Mother Nature that you start to realize just how tight knit the community really is. How fast they can come together and get the job done. And correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've understood, while there's been a significant amount of damage, there's been very little. There's been very little loss of life, of cows, of equipment. There's been some here and there, but not as much as there could have been for as catastrophic as it was so quickly.
As far as I know, we've all moved really fast. And from here all the way down to Corcoran. I think farther west you go, the worse it is. We have our little slice of hell here, but there's towns being evacuated. Alpall and Allensworth, I think, and then everything on 43 was pretty much underwater.
Wow. Over
there. They had some pretty bad, gnarly stuff. But as far as I know, we got everybody out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the rest of it's just stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which it's like you always say, you can replace stuff, you can't replace people.
Right. We got close. We got close. There's a few times, man, we were touch and go. It was, some butt puckering moments for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But we were fortunate.
Wow. So backing up a little bit, kind of talking about this whole issue. So I guess we should preface this by saying, obviously the Central Valley does not get a lot of rain. It doesn't get a lot of water, period. We've had historic amounts of rain this year. And it's not so much the rain that was the issue. It was the breaking of the river and the lack of infrastructure and all those sorts of things that kind of caused a lot of this, right?
No, you absolutely nailed it. We got record-setting snowpacks this year, which was amazing, right? That's what we need. If that mountain is the camel's back to this valley. The problem is we don't have the infrastructure to hold it. This was, and I'm going back, I'm hearing this secondhand. But if I am correct, which I believe I am, back in 2003, we talked about and we started putting together a plan to build up the dams, strengthen them, go higher, so we could hold more capacity. Capacity means two things, right? It means you can hold it for the dry years, but you can also hold it while it's flowing down at a rapid pace, so you could let it out the normal channels at a pace that we can all handle it. Well, 2003 came and gone. We're 23, and we were waiting on a geological study or an environmental study. Just like with the mountains that caught fire. Oh, don't touch it. You can't clean all that brush out. You can't clean the dead logs because you're going to damage the environment. Well, what did we do? That went up in smoke and we went and flooded. Because I'm not saying we don't need to study things. I'm not saying we don't need to look at the impacts of things. I think that's important. But can we do it faster? Does it have to take 20 years to even go, oh yeah, maybe this is something we should do? Get your butt in gear and let's roll, because these things are going to keep happening if we don't get it together. So this river, and I don't know if you knew, this river right now, and it's pretty high. It's running about 5,400 CFS. We had 10 at the top of it. So it wasn't going to hold it. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care what you say about the banks. She wasn't going to hold. She had to break somewhere. And she did. She broke everywhere. But we're no martyrs. But if there's somewhere it was going to break, it was going to break either in Porterville, you know, in those hill communities, or it was going to break out here. And out of all the places, we were the place that had the least amount of people per square mile. But we're now going to need a lot of help to rebuild. The roads are gone. Power lines are gone. There's entire facilities that are gone. The future impacts, I don't know if you're ready to talk about this.
You can touch on it. We'll go into that a little bit later as well. But if you want to,
we don't know what we're going to expect, but I've got some serious hunches that the near future is going to be pretty rough. Okay.
What do you? So obviously this is the Tule River that broke. I'm not as familiar with how far the Tule River runs. How far has this damage gotten?
I know that I'm pretty sure the farthest east break is on road just west of Road 192. Okay. It broke on the north side also. And then the next one is just west of Road 152. And that's the one that affected us the most. And then I don't think it breaks again until, and this is the North Tule Fork that I'm talking about. I think it broke again somewhere in Corcoran area, Hanford area, somewhere around there. But I got to stay in my lane on that one.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I've heard that Corcoran has been getting a pretty decent amount of flooding over there. Like
Decent would be an understatement. Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know what the legitimacy of the claims are, but I've even heard claims that there's the potential that Corcoran is not going to be Corcoran anymore if it keeps going.
Yeah. Well, then the good news is it seems like it's slowing down. Slowing down from 10,000. Where I don't know. There's a lot of holes to plug. I've been watching helicopters all day yesterday, dropping sandbags in the river, trying to plug the leak. But I don't know.
Okay. Well, I think that frames the issue pretty well. Let's kind of look a little bit more locally. So we talked about, having to evacuate cows, having to evacuate people, trying to get, equipment and trucks and stuff out of there as much as possible. Where are all these things going? Where are the cows being relocated? Where are the people going? What's been the status with all that?
They're going wherever there is holes right now. And I say holes, places for animals. We've been unfortunate that there were some dairies that went out of business this past year, and those facilities, some of them have not been fully populated yet by others. Some of them are going there. There are others that are having a fire sale, and they're selling all their cows, and they're done.
Wow.
So, because there's nowhere to put it. There's either nowhere for them to go, or this was the last straw. I don't want to do this anymore. Is kind of the attitude for some of them.
Okay. And I mean, just on the way over here, I can see it. The access of transportation is definitely not what it usually would be. You have a lot of roads closed off. You have the freeways on and off of being closed or at least plugged up. You have heavier traffic in Tipton than I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. No
so, like, what has been the kind of the ramifications of having all of these, like all of this congestion and all of these roads closed and all that sort of stuff?
That has been one of the most annoying things. I mean, okay, granted, this is all bad.
Sure.
But that one just really crawls, right up my spine. You can't close the freeway and not give people direction on how to get around. You can't start closing roads and not be there for the people. And granted, I know I'm not I'm not in the sheriff's department.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in the highway patrol. I don't understand those struggles. So I have no idea what they were working with.
Sure.
I know right now we've got sheriff from even all the way up to Madera down here. I'm down the street. They're sitting there at a closed road, which is great. You know, we got everybody coming over.
Sure.
But oh my gosh, you know, we're trying to run cattle trucks. We're trying to run loaders. We're trying to run dump trucks, trying to plug leaks. We're trying to fly. And you got these Kias and these Teslas and these little cars from, and not even just the little cars. Little cars are the ones I was worried about, to be honest with you, because when you go off the side, you're there. And there's these people thinking that we can do these water crossings. And I'm sitting here going, I'm in a big-ass loader right now. And you see water going 10 feet high, you know, off these tires. And your Kia, you think you're going to make it? Some of these people, they're like, do you think we can make it through that pass? And I'm going, well, here's your options. One, you can give it a shot, but you can't see the road. And if you get off that road, you will be there till the water stops. Because none of us have the time or the patience or the energy to come pull you out when you could have waited through the congestion. We've got animals and people and facilities to save. So either you sit in this line and go around, or you go there and be a permanent structure until this water stops. Because ain't nobody gonna come get you.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of those people. Actually, one I just learned fell into a ditch.
Oh, jeez.
And sank that son of a gun, and somebody had to come with a loader and pull it out so the water could start flowing again.
Wow.
But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
Had
like it.
Had a truck parked in a one lane, a big 18-wheeler sitting there in a one lane. I'm sitting there coming off an angle in a 192. There's cars flying everywhere. He's got 15 coming behind him, and he's sitting there. His truck's sitting there. He is standing there outside of his truck, going, whoa, looking at the sky. And I'm sitting here going, freaking move! And he's all, calm down. Calm down. I'm about to come out this loader, whoop your butt. Freaking move, dude.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's ridiculous. No, I mean, I've been hearing, like, Kelsey's been telling me that she's seen trucks that have tried to go past, like, some of the closed road signs, and then they get stuck, and then they try to turn around, and they tip over their trucks. They're dumping milk and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah.
They're getting trucks completely stuck to the point where they can't get them out. Which that's more on the semis and like the trucks pulling trailers kind of side.
Those were interesting to see.
Yeah, no, it's like it's amazing how little logic people have. It's like if the road is closed and there's water to the point where you can't see the road, then maybe you shouldn't go down there.
Right. I mean, there's certain roads that I know very, very well.
Sure.
And I've been passing through those quite a bit, but I can feel them, through the truck going, these roads are getting worse. The holes are getting deeper. The roads are being washed out. It's glass on top. You can't see,
Wow.
And when it's 3 feet of water, you better be right.
Yeah.
Because that little touch of asphalt that your tires are grabbing onto is all you have to stay on that road. And these people that think they're going to get in a hurry and get around, they're not. They don't understand the erosion that's happening down there. There were some, and granted, there were some of these trucks that, they're lifelines.
Sure.
Got some grain trucks, got some commodity trucks that are coming through that, we need those. Stay on the road, though. Stop trying to get in the dirt. I saw one grain truck that was up. The truck was on the ground, but it was a full load of grain or mineral, and he was completely sideways, just hanging on by the hitch. Side of the truck is up, just sitting there with two wheels on the ground. It took two big trucks to get him back down straight. I went, why? And he has to sit there, that stand of shame next to his truck, just sideways.
Oh, man.
Well, everybody and their mother's driving by, and he's like, yep, I was that guy.
Yeah. Wow. That's insane. Okay. Well, yeah. So it's just it's a cluster right now. Everything is.
That's the PG way of saying it. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that we've, unless you have more to tell, but I think we've outlined the issue pretty well. In terms of what the damage has kind of been like. Like you mentioned, there's helicopters getting sandbags everywhere. I saw sandbags on your other dairy over there.
Yeah, my cousins.
Yeah,
they built a big old wall.
I saw that. That was
amazing.
Yeah. Have you seen the craft plant?
Yeah.
So my dad and I were driving through there yesterday. They have this big old sand wall around the whole craft plant that like just popped up overnight. It's
I don't know how they did it.
That's insane. But like we're seeing all of this, all of this effort going in. Mm-hmm. And we talked about, obviously lack of infrastructure was a primary cause in all of this. But moving forward, kind of going to your hunches, what do you think is going to be the state of how things are going to be moving forward, and what do you think we're going to have to do, the state's going to have to do, what can be done to try to help with this?
I don't know what can be done. Let me line out where we are right now, and you can make your estimations after that. We've got wheat in the ground that's not going to care if it's underwater when it's done. She'll turn yellow. She's going to die. We've got more water on these fields right now than we know what to do with, right? There's a very, very real chance that we're not going to, I say we, as a community, people are not going to get those crops out. We already have water restrictions, believe it or not. It's weird to say right now, the way it is. So we've been planning on growing crops in a drought. People are they're growing what they can and feeding what they have. And now the crop that they're depending on right now is underwater. And there's a good chance they're not going to get to it. All right, so let's stop there. Not going to get to the crop that's already in the ground. Next crop needs to get in the ground, and we haven't got the first crop out. Besides that, we have no idea what that ground looks like. It could be, the topsoil could be absolutely shot. Right. The amount of water that went through it is insane. That ground may not grow anything for a bit. Sure as heck isn't going to give you your tonnage that you thought before. And that's if you can get those crops in the ground. All right. So we lost one crop. We might get the second one in. Might. Maybe. And if we do, it's going to be late. So now what are we doing to feed animals? We've lost almost an entire year's worth of feed when we're barely making it on a half a year. Wow. It's all the feed that's coming in is just in time. It's just in time all the time. So now what? We had all these acres put fallow because we didn't have the water. Now we have too much water. Burn to death, freeze to death.
Right.
And now we're looking at how do we feed animals. Besides that, the dairy industry, the margins haven't increased ever. It's just getting squeezed. We're not getting any more money for our milk. The regulations are absolutely astronomical. People are tired. It's already been a hard business. And we've seen record feed prices this past year that haven't been touched ever. I mean, nobody's seen these kind of prices.
Wow.
With the exact same milk prices. And now we're going to lose a year's worth of feed on top of that? You can't truck in wheat silage. You can't truck in corn silage from out of state. That's what everybody was putting in because we can truck in alfalfa. So now what? Now the alfalfa fields are turning into corn and wheat. The wheat fields are completely full of water, and we're not sure we can put corn in.
Wow.
And if these guys are still in the white land, I don't know what the regulations are going to say. If they can pump, somebody's going to have to give them permission to pump a crap ton of water because those guys in the white land were buying feed from guys that are in a water district like us. But those guys in the water district are flooded. So where are these guys that are in the white land going to get their feed?
Yeah. Huh. Wow. Yeah, that's so there's going to be a pretty big domino effect for a while, you're thinking.
Just on feed. We're not even talking about water quality.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
I mean, with floodwaters, you tend to see some decrease of water quality.
Right.
We don't know what that's going to do. And that's on a personal note, right? Domestically. What's the water going to be like in our homes? Yeah. Again, I don't know what can be done. I just know where we're at. We're headed, the potentials. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and do everything you can in between. But that's what we're looking at right now. Or that's where we're at.
Wow. So do you think that we're going to see an even larger migration of dairy farmers than we already were? Like migration?
I don't even know if it's going to be a migration. I think it's going to be just
a quit.
We're done.
Wow.
If they can migrate, if people still have the passion for it, I mean, awesome. But this will do something to you. This is different. This one hurts.
Wow.
I don't know how many people want to keep doing it, which is terrible to say. But when you go through something like this and you've been beat up in the state for this long, you either have to have a real good passion for it, to migrate and do it somewhere else, or a lot of those people that were migrating or have the potential to migrate, they're all older. Do you want to start over again? Do your kids want it? Are your kids the ones that are wanting to migrate?
Yeah.
Or are we just going to retire?
Yeah. Wow. That's insane. Huh. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that.
Right? Because nobody talks about that. Because it goes back to, we knew this was going to happen. This happens once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
You have a lifetime to build the infrastructure. You have a lifetime to prepare. We wouldn't be in this drought. It wouldn't be this bad if we prepared the infrastructure. But now we went from a drought to a flood overnight. You can't change farming practices like that in 12 hours. You have to prepare for things like that. So now what? What do we do? I'm asking the wrong person. Because I don't know either.
I can't tell you. No.
Nobody does. Yeah. And honestly, I don't know if you've heard the news or seen the news. I haven't heard anything from the state.
No. Actually, I was just looking into that yesterday morning. I was looking to see if there was any kind of statements from the governor, from the Congress, from the state Congress, from anything about what they're going to do. And there's been no statement, no acknowledgement, no nothing.
Yeah, that part feels a little lonely, to a point. But I hate to say it, we're getting used to fighting our own battles, though.
Yeah.
With very little or no support from the state.
Yeah.
So this is just one more of those things. It's like it hurts, but it's not unexpected.
Right. Yeah. Which I was starting to ask myself yesterday, what would, if the state were to make some kind of statement or to make some kind of effort to help out, what would that need to look like for it to even be worth anything?
Well, we don't need them to come out. Although I kind of, for some reason, I guess I was expecting maybe a flyover from the governor or a statement, I guess.
Yeah.
But he must be busy.
He's got some other things. Yeah. He's trying to control other states. Why would he take care of his own?
Yeah. You said it, not me. Relief funds is where it's going to be at for this city, for multiple cities. Our roads are gone. The erosion is crazy. The riverbanks are shot. There's people that have lost everything that, unless you're just going to say, well, tough, we're not going to help, then those guys are out of business, which at some point it almost feels like they want it to go that way anyways with all the regulations that we've had.
Right.
So, it tastes so bad coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But if some of these guys are going to stay in business, there's going to need to be some sort of disaster relief fund. And I'm not sure if this state's got it.
Yeah.
It might have to be federal.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking, which, I'm not even sure if it's that the state doesn't have it, but the willingness for them to give it to our communities. It's been fairly clear that, the state of California does not exactly prioritize the Central Valley in a lot of capacities. So even if they have the money to give, I don't think that that's where they're going to send it. So it might be worth looking into federal, federal relief fund or something, on that degree. Because, I don't know what else can be done from their level. I mean, and maybe that's why they haven't said anything, because they're like, well, what do you want us to do, But
Well, but you're not even making it known that you're acknowledging the situation,
right.
Like we've got there's zero acknowledgement from the state, which has been, and I say that going, I haven't seen it, right? And everybody I've talked to hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Granted, we're all very busy still.
Sure.
But
I mean, I spent an hour, yesterday looking up recent statements from the state, and I haven't seen anything on it yet. So
yeah, well, that's a little depressing.
Yeah. hate to bring you even less hope, but
we will rebuild all by ourselves.
Right. Stronger alone than we are together.
Golly, almost, man. It's getting that way.
That's insane.
There's no, and the crazy part is it doesn't feel like there's any central communication. And granted, it's a disaster, and at some point I'm glad there isn't, because we've got such a good community here in our area. We can do things on our own. Like, we've all got each other's cell phones. We're all checking on each other. Mm-hmm. We all know these rivers because we've been here for generations.
Yeah.
So we all know how to pitch in and help. The last thing we needed was somebody to come in and tell us what to do.
Right.
However, after we're done spending all our time and money, keeping people safe,
right,
it would be nice to hear, an acknowledgement of, hey, thanks for keeping your shit together.
Right. Exactly.
Here's how we can come in, and here's what we can do to help.
Yeah.
Whether you take it or leave it. So we'll see if that's to be done yet. But it's definitely an experience that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
It's to hear what sounds like thunder, and it's just cattle trucks.
Yeah, that's insane.
To see that amount of water, but see people go, hell with it, my truck can get in there, not knowing if they can, right? Right. A neighbor down the road, we're going, hey, we have to get there, and it's absolutely flooded, and we're waist deep, wading through it, and we had one cattle truck go, I cannot make that, and the other guy goes, I'll do it. He goes, F it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at him. I said, are you sure? He goes, hell yeah. Lit a cigarette and off we went, man. And he did it. And if it wasn't for him, honestly, I don't know who else would have done it. But he proved that he could do it.
Yeah.
And it was stuff like that. People just saying,
yeah,
hell with it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
What else are we going to do?
Right.
And we made it work.
When you get down to the wire like that, it's that kind of attitude that needs to be there to get the stuff done. You know, like because like you said, if he doesn't do it, then who's going to? It does no one any good to just kind of sit around and go, well, that's happening.
Well, and that was the looky-loos that were coming through, man. Whoa. Oh, that's terrible. I feel so bad. Look at it from the news.
Right.
Get out of our way.
Yeah. Yeah. There are videos nonstop on it on YouTube. Go watch those.
Yes. Shoot. But it was really neat to see this community come together. It was really neat to see people coming out of the woodworks. I tell you what, I ate really well.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that I won't eat, I won't drink, I won't sleep as long as there's work to be done.
Right.
And it's important like this is. You just work until you're done, and the work doesn't stop. You just don't stop to eat. You don't think about that. But we had neighbors and family bringing food out, all the time, throwing it on top of trucks. I ate more pizza and more burritos. My gut is a mess. And more coffee. That was not the right mixture, I'll tell you that. I'm going to be dealing with that for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. I say it's fun. Got to look at the bright side of things.
Yeah.
Had the dog out with us, and he was a stray of all things. A stray. I've had him for about a year and a half. He's a cattle working son of a gun, man. He took the place of a man or two.
Wow.
We were evacuating cattle, and I bought a cattle dog. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I bought a Boo Queensland when I first had my own place. He was a dumb son of a gun, man. he couldn't move nothing. And this dog comes out of nowhere just in time to move cattle.
Wow.
I'm like, it's
perfect.
This works out pretty dang good.
Yeah.
I did have to share my pizza and my burrito with him, but other than that,
hey,
he earned it.
Yeah, he's got to get paid too.
He earned every bit of it.
That's awesome. Well, I will say one thing above all of the disaster and chaos, your shining optimism has been a pleasure.
If you don't laugh, what else are you gonna do?
Exactly. Yeah. It does nobody any good to just sit around and mope about it. But but no, that has been fun to watch. Besides everything else, but I was gonna say something. I completely forgot what it was. Oh. One last note, as long as we're talking about positives, there are some talks about the recharge of the groundwater because of all of this.
Yes, I'm listening.
So that's been like I saw somebody the other day posting about this that was like, well, even though all the dairies are getting flooded out, the groundwater is going to get recharged and we're going to have groundwater. And I was like, oh, that's great as long as we can use it on something. If there's no cropland left and if there's no cows left, then the groundwater doesn't do us a whole lot of good.
Yeah.
But
so that doesn't lead me to a positive, because we got a lot of water. It's all going in the ground. But if we suck it out and we send it to the south and put it through the big cities, well, that didn't help too much.
Right.
And again, like you said, if we can't use it on the crops, that doesn't help either.
Mm-hmm.
But the worry is that we're going to go from a massive flooding back to a drought again.
Mm-hmm.
I love the picture. Oh, in 2 days, we went from massive drought conditions to no drought.
Right.
But we still don't have the storage.
Right.
So it's just a matter of time before that groundwater disappears again. And with the lack of infrastructure, we're back in a drought again.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing we can do is cross our fingers and pray that the rain and the snow keep coming.
Yep.
And that'll keep us out of the drought.
Right.
But if that stops, we're right back where we started again.
Yeah. No, my dad and I were, like I said, when we were heading through Tipton, he was saying, this is more water than we've gotten in like this is 10 years worth of water that we got all at once. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be another 10 years before we see it again. So
it'll be probably 90 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 years maybe.
Wow. But that's fingers crossed that, as we've already discussed, the state has not made a statement, but fingers crossed that the state learns their lesson from this and builds something to support the potential of it happening again. Because not that we ever thought we were going to have to worry about this kind of thing happening, but now that it has happened, it's like, okay, let's not let this happen again. And maybe, again, hypotheticals here, maybe this can be a point that we can now use to show, like, look, we've been asking you guys for infrastructure for years. We didn't get it, and we lost a ton of stuff because of it. And your state economy is going down the drain because of it. Mm-hmm. Can you please do something now?
Right. Well, and I would hope, I'm, again, really hoping that that's going to be the case, mm-hmm. right? But this isn't the first time it's happened.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
Learn from your experiences. Prepare. We didn't do that. Mm. So, cross our fingers, We also didn't have drone photos, drone videos. We didn't have good documentation of it. Now we've got visuals. Talk is cheap. People forget talk. Videos are immortal.
That's true.
Pictures are immortal. Hopefully that is some sort of a selling point, because nobody that's alive now quite remembers the devastation of the previous one. So if we can do something now, we've got the pictures, we've got the videos, we can keep bringing it up. The other way around, it was all word of mouth. Hey, don't you remember?
Yeah.
I got fingers crossed. You can't see it through the mic. Fingers are crossed. Toes are crossed.
I'll put a picture of a crossed finger on the.
Yeah. Now I've got some optimism for the future, but it's why I stay so busy too in so many different avenues. Is I'm not just going to sit back and hope and cross my fingers that it's going to happen. I'm going to get my butt in there and we're going to make it happen.
Yeah. So
if that's what it takes. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Just keep feeding me donuts and coffee.
Gotta get your fuel somewhere.
Yeah. I can sleep when I'm dead. But
Hey, don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done.
Right. Good thing. And that's why they put pillows in coffins. You know that? Then you can finally get some rest.
I'm going to use that now. That's a good one.
There's a pillow in the coffin. I'll be fine.
Okay. All right. Well, that wraps up all the questions I had. Did you have anything else you wanted to add on to that?
You know, the only thing that I'm just going to stress again is the community that you live in is so important. And I don't think a lot of times people understand how important your neighbors are. We do. We're a farming community. But when things hit the fan, you really have to lean on that community. So you either work on those relationships and build that community up, or you don't. And when things happen, because something will happen, it's not if, it's when. That's when the rubber hits the road. And we're very fortunate that our community is what it is, because it really, really shows the testament of who these people are and who we are as a whole and what we can accomplish together. That's where I'll end at.
Well said. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know that you're busy and tired and a lot of things are going on, but I've been trying to get some more updates and information about what's going on in this situation, and more than anything, just to get the word out, because like you mentioned, people in town don't even know what's going on. People outside of our community especially don't know what's going on. So just getting that out there and hoping that, you know, people see it and realize just how, first of all, how durable, you know, those in agriculture are, but second of all, how catastrophic these things can be without proper preparation and planning and support. And so just, you know, I appreciate you taking the time. It's been fun.
No, it's always a pleasure.
For those of you who could not see that, he just yawned a big yawn to demonstrate my point.
That's why I do podcasts and I stay away from video.
Yeah, before we close out, do you want to, you know, tag all your stuff again, let everyone know where they can find you to keep updates about what's been going on?
Right. No, CA Dairy Dad. So California Dairy Dad. You can just Google or search Dairy Dad, and it's a black logo, a black background, white logo. I don't have a face on there, but I do on the videos. So it's on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find it all there. I posted some drone videos of the break that's near us, and some updates. Most of them are me being extremely tired. But that's all I had the energy for. By the time I stop to do those videos or post an update, it's, you know, early in the morning, late at night, everything's off, and so am I. So
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, there's updates there, and I'll keep posting stuff there and updating people there as well.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I will link all that down in the description. That's where I've been getting most of my updates. So, but yeah, thank you again, Tyler, so much. I appreciate it. And thank all of you for listening and for tuning in. And hopefully you learned a thing or two about Central Valley Ag. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out. I will forward those to Tyler and anyone else that I know that can answer those questions, because I certainly can't. But yeah, thank you all again so much. I hope to catch you all next week. And don't forget, if you ate today, thank a farmer. And also pray for our farmers.